Welcome class 7 students. I am Ain ma'am here again for discussing our another chapter, that is the atmosphere. In the previous clippings we have discussed another chapter and I think you all have read that chapter and I think I am clear about that. So today we are going to starting our new syllabus, our half yearly syllabus, that is the atmosphere. And if you observe that you have two types of SST book, right? That is NCERT and private book. So you have to follow both book, private and NCERT, because NCERT is board book. So that's why we have to follow both books, okay? But the atmosphere, this chapter is related with the chapter of air, which is written as in your NCERT book. At that chapter in NCERT book, air, that is divided into different chapters in your private book. But we have to follow the private book for gain more information about the chapter air. So if you follow NCERT book, then you can see that the chapter air, it is written as air. But at that chapter there are different types of part, like what is atmosphere, composition of atmosphere, layers of atmosphere, elements of weather and climate, humidity and rainfall, different things are there, and that all are written in different chapters in your private book. So that's why at first we have to follow the private book. Okay, so let us start. In chapter 1 we have read about the environment, and at that chapter we have read that our natural environment is mainly divided into two parts, that is physical environment and another portion biological environment. In physical environment we have discussed about atmosphere, next lithosphere, and the last one is hydrosphere. And in biological environment we have discussed about biosphere, right? So you have some idea about that chapter. Now we elaborately discuss this chapter, the atmosphere. Okay, so for knowing this chapter you have to at first know what is atmosphere and from which word this word has come from. Okay, so let us discuss. Atmosphere, this word came from the Greek word atmos, means vapor, and sphaira, that means sphere or region. So the atmosphere means sphere of vapor. So what is atmosphere? If we look down on our earth from space, then we can see a transparent blue haze around the planet. This haze is actually a thin layer, which layer surrounds our earth like a blanket, and blanket of gases mainly, or air. This is called atmosphere. And atmosphere, this word came from two Greek words, atmos, which means vapor, and sphaira, that means sphere or region. So atmosphere means sphere of vapor or sphere of gases, different types of gases. Okay, among the three types of physical environment, that is atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere, atmosphere is most dynamic. Atmosphere is most dynamic realms or region. we have already known that why we live on our earth. There are 8 types of planets, you know. But why we live in our earth? Because earth is a dynamic planet also. Every day our earth's face is changing. We have already read about that in your previous chapter, that our earth's face is always changing due to different types of erosional and depositional work. You have read, so you have that idea. So atmosphere has a great importance for make it dynamic. So that's why this chapter has an importance also. Actually, the atmosphere is the most dynamic, and this is a zone where all weather and climate related phenomena like winds, storms, rain, etc. happens. So the atmosphere is held to the surface of the earth. If this is the earth, then this is the surface of the earth, and in this position, if we look from space, then we can see a blue haze. This is actually a layer of gases, and this is known as atmosphere. Thin layer of gases, and it finally merges into outer space, because in this portion this atmosphere is merges into outer space or universe. Okay, now we have to focus on that why our atmosphere is useful to humans in different ways. Number 1, it provides the life-giving gas, that is oxygen. We inhale it and exhale carbon dioxide. Number 2, it acts as a blanket. Why blanket? Because it keeps the earth warm by trapping the heat. This is the great important thing. It acts as a blanket by trapping the heat that radiates from the earth. That is also known as terrestrial radiation. Later we will discuss it. Then number 3, it protects life. It protects life from UV rays. UV rays means ultraviolet rays. Number 4, the moisture. It also contains the moisture, and the moisture has an essential part of the water cycle. So these 4 are the main or great things that atmosphere has a great importance. Okay, also green plants need the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere for making food. So mainly this type of 4 things are important for discussing the importance of atmosphere. Our Earth's atmosphere traps some heat. So there are different types of radiation. What are different types of radiation? Number 1, solar radiation. Number 2, insolation. Number 3, terrestrial radiation. What is solar radiation? Actually, the energy, or you know that the sun has a maximum amount of energy. So the energy given out by the sun, it is known as solar radiation. And what is about insolation? Insolation means, you can also say, incoming solar radiation. Incoming solar radiation. What is incoming solar radiation? Actually, the amount of solar radiation received by the atmosphere and the surface of the earth is called insolation. Suppose this is our earth, and in this universe, suppose there is a sun. When the energy comes out from the sun, it is trapped by our earth, right? It is trapped by our earth. So which amount of energy is coming from the sun, that is known as solar radiation. And insolation means which radiation is coming from the sun, incoming solar radiation, and also received by the atmosphere, that is known as insolation. And what is about terrestrial radiation? The energy reflected from the surface of the earth. Because if our earth surface received 100% energy, then they can't absorb the 100% energy. So some amount of energy they have to be released. So the energy reflected from the surface of the earth and atmosphere, it is called terrestrial radiation. Okay, so this type of three radiations has a great important role for atmosphere. Now we have to discuss about the composition of the atmosphere. We have already discussed about the importance of the atmosphere and also definition of the atmosphere. Now we have to discuss the composition of the atmosphere. Composition means this term is related with some mixture. So our Earth's atmosphere is a mixture of several gases. The most important of these are nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, then you can also say ozone, then hydrogen. Actually there are different types of gases are there, like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, helium, neon, krypton, xenon, methane. There are different types of gases. So these are some major gases, because these types of gases are present in larger amount than any other gases. So we have to also read the percentage. Nitrogen is available in our atmosphere in 78%, oxygen 21%, carbon dioxide 0.03%, ozone 0.00006%, and then hydrogen it is 0.00005%. So these are some important major gases, and these are the main composition of our atmosphere. Why nitrogen has 78%? Nitrogen is the most abundant gas in the air. Abundant means it is available in larger amount. Plants and animals need nitrogen. Why? For their survival or for their existence. But they cannot absorb it directly from the air. How can they absorb it? Bacteria that are present in the soil and the roots of some plants convert the nitrogen in the atmosphere and makes it usable for plants. Animals obtain nitrogen how? When they eat that plant products. That's why animals also obtain nitrogen. Then oxygen. Oxygen is the second most abundant gas in the atmosphere. In your book there is also a chart, and at that chart all are written in percentage. Then oxygen is the second most abundant gas, and it is why it is important. You already know why oxygen is important, because we are living by these gases, and most living things including human beings need to inhale it, and for their survival oxygen is a very much essential, and it is also essential for combustion or like burning matter. Then carbon dioxide, which is available in our air at 0.03%. It is another vital important gas because it helps in photosynthesis. We already have an idea because you have already read it in science, so you know about the photosynthesis process. Green plants need carbon dioxide and water to manufacture food or to process food. They take in carbon dioxide and convert it to starch in the presence of the air, sunlight, and using chlorophyll, the green substance, you know. So this type of incident or this type of phenomenon is called the photosynthesis. And green plants give out oxygen during photosynthesis. This oxygen is used up by us, by the living things, and carbon dioxide is released. This dual process ensures that the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is always constant, and this is a natural balance also. So so for this purpose our duty is to plant more trees for maintaining this type of balance, right? Now carbon dioxide absorbs terrestrial radiation and radiates it back to the earth. This trapping of energy by the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere produces the greenhouse effect, and it is therefore called the greenhouse gas. The amount of carbon dioxide in the air increase. Why the carbon dioxide is increasing and more heat gets trapping on the earth's surface? Because for our responsibility, this is our responsibility now to save our earth, but our ever demanding, our ever increasing population, our population amount of pollution is increasing day by day. So that's why our greenhouse effects are also increasing, and this leads to increase in the temperature of the earth's surface and also the atmosphere layer. So this warming of the earth, by which process our earth's surface is trapping heat, that is known as the global warming. And nowadays this term has a great importance because day by day our population is increasing, our pollution is also increasing for our responsibility. So that is the another thing. So our atmosphere is the level of our atmosphere is decreasing day by day. The natural balance of the atmosphere is also affecting by burning fossil fuels, and you know about the examples of fossil fuels like coal and petroleum. So these also adds carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So this is our duty to maintain these two gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, by planting more trees, right? Then dust particles. The dust particles are also available in our atmosphere, and it is present in our air. It is needed for the formation of clouds and the resultant precipitation. They form the nuclei around which water vapor condenses into droplets of water. When several such droplets clump together, clouds are formed. Look at the board. Suppose this is the earth's surface and this is water body. Okay. The sun rays are coming in our earth's surface and in water body also, and the sun rays is coming and our earth's surface, and the surface of the water is also increasing their temperature. Now there are different types of dust particles are available in our air or in our environment. When the water vapor are going higher portion of the atmosphere or the environment, that vapor, that type of water vapor gathered by centering the dust particles. Okay, and when they come together, they make a great amount of clouds. Actually, clouds are a composition of dust particles, water vapor, and also the ice. Okay, so when these clouds are going the below freezing point, that is -0°, and when these clouds can't carry their weight, then they come into rainfall as, or snowfall maybe, as precipitation. So in this way precipitation also occurred, and that is the importance of dust particles in the air. Understand? We also have to discuss that what are the different types of structures are made up with for forming the atmosphere. Actually, scientists have decided the atmosphere has the 5 major layers, and this division is based largely on the temperature variation, because the different types of layers have different distinct temperature, and the layers are the troposphere, then stratosphere, then mesosphere, and that is thermosphere. In this thermosphere, two types of layers are also included, that is in the lowermost portion the ionosphere, and in the uppermost portion, that is exosphere. Now we will discuss about the troposphere. In this sphere we are living. Okay, the troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere. In this layer, temperature, atmospheric pressure fall with height. The temperature decreases at the rate of 6.5 degrees centigrade for every 1 kilometer. Suppose this is the surface, and every 1 kilometer, if it is 1 kilometer, then the temperature will decrease 6.5 degrees centigrade for every 1 kilometer. This rate is known as lapse rate. This rate of change in temperature with increase in altitude means height, that is known as lapse rate. And lapse rate is a important thing in this layer, troposphere. The troposphere is the densest zone of the atmosphere, because all the weatheric phenomena happens there. The average thickness of the troposphere is around 10 to 13 kilometer. The thickness varies from about 8 kilometer at the poles and 18 kilometer near the equator. The troposphere is also known as the weather making zone, because clouds forming, precipitation, this type of weather and climatic phenomena happens only in this sphere. So this sphere has a great importance among the all sphere. The upper limit of the troposphere is called the tropopause. Okay, next our second layer is stratosphere. The layer just above the troposphere is known as the stratosphere, right? And it extends up to 50 kilometer. Here the temperature is constant for a few kilometers to begin with, and then it rises or it increases gradually. It is a clear and dry zone which is largely devoid of weather phenomena, and there are no clouds here. Troposphere is a mixture of different types of gases or clouds also, because in which layer there are gases, so clouds also available at that sphere. But the stratosphere doesn't have any clouds or any weatheric phenomena or storms. These factors make it the ideal zone for the jet plane. So jet plane also available in this sphere. Okay. In the lower part of the stratosphere, between the altitude of 15 to 30 km, there is a thin layer of the gas ozone. What is the importance of ozone? Ozone plays a very important role. It absorbs the harmful UV rays which are coming, that ultraviolet rays are trapped by this ozone layer, and it is being destroyed by the release of chlorofluorocarbon into the atmosphere. So CFC, the full form of CFC is chlorofluorocarbon. It is a valuable industrial chemical which is used in our fridge or home insulation, plastic foam, AC. In this thing, the CFC are also used. So jet planes that fly in this stratosphere also release CFC. So efforts are being made globally to reduce the use of CFC. And likely the troposphere, the upper portion of the troposphere is known as tropopause. Likely the upper portion of the stratosphere is also known as stratopause. Okay. Next, our third layer, which is known as mesosphere. The third layer of the atmosphere is mesosphere, and it extends from around 50 to 80 kilometers. In the mesosphere, the temperature starts decreasing once more, and meteoroids, that is rock fragments. You have an idea about meteoroids because that this is like a shooting star. This is like a shooting star, and meteoroids are seen in this sphere. So burn up when they pass through this part of the atmosphere. Some meteorites survive their journey through the atmosphere, and when these meteorites come into this troposphere, then it is known as meteorites. You have that idea. When they come into this place, meteorites, when fall into the troposphere, then it is known as meteorites, or sometimes we may call it the shooting star. And likely the uppermost portion of the mesosphere is known as mesopause. Now the outermost part, that is known as the thermosphere, right? The thermosphere is the part of atmosphere that lies beyond the mesosphere. It can be divided into two layers, the ionosphere and the exosphere. The lower portion is known as ionosphere, and the outermost portion, that is known as exosphere. And exosphere merges into space. We doesn't have any idea where the exosphere has the limitation. Actually, exosphere doesn't have a limitation, so that's why exosphere is the outermost space. The ionosphere is the lowest part of the thermosphere. It lies above the mesopause. It is located. The ultraviolet radiations from the sun break the gas molecules in this layer into electrically charged ions. Therefore, the ionosphere is full of electrically charged ions which enable wireless transmission. Okay, and radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by these ions. This is the importance of ionosphere. And likely the upper portion of this ionosphere is known as ionopause. The exosphere lies beyond the ionopause, and it is the uppermost layer of the Ol's sphere. It merges with interplanetary space. We doesn't have any idea where this actually merges into space. The temperature here is estimated to be beyond 5500 degrees centigrade. approx, and the air is very thin here and its density is very low. But in the troposphere, it is also known as the densest zone because all the weatheric phenomena happens here. But the exosphere has the very thin amount of air and the density is very low. Only the lighter gases like helium, hydrogen are found here. So this is the main thing of the structure of atmosphere. If it will come that write a description about the structure of the atmosphere, then you have to discuss about these layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere and thermosphere, and also you have to practice the diagram. Okay, so in this chapter we have discussed about the definitions of atmosphere and their composition, their importance, their structure, everything. I think you all are clear about it. So let's start about the revision. Thank you.